Hello, you caught me doing this at home again. Sorry I didn't get it to you earlier. Hopefully you'll catch it. Today is the 12th of November and today was our quiz day. So, first thing, please think about when you want to take this if you weren't here so that you can get this taken care of sooner the better because you know the information right now, but give it a week or two and you may start forgetting stuff. So, get this scheduled ASAP as soon as possible. Send me an email. The quiz itself probably takes 20 minutes. And so, if you get here at 8 o'clock in the morning, you'll be a couple minutes into home base or snap. We have that tomorrow. So I'll definitely try to connect with people as I see you tomorrow to see if you want to take it. The essential question is more of, it's a worksheet and I'll show you that, and that you can turn in, work on that on your own and just ask me questions. Okay. So on to our vocab word and target. So our vocab word we've had before, that's abolition. It's the ending of slavery. Think of abolish. You abolish something, you're getting rid of it. Some people might abolish sugar out of their diet, or they might, you wouldn't necessarily say it that way, but you sure could. Abolish the weeds in your yard. You're getting rid of them. So abolition is the getting rid of something, and in this case, it's the getting rid of slavery. So a person that believes in the ending of slavery is an abolitionist. And so I want you to think about, why is this important to our time period? If there are people that are believing in wanting to end slavery, that are abolitionists, that are working towards it, think about if you're from the South. How is that impacting you? If you are, if you are from the South and you've got people that are saying you got to get rid of your slaves, you have to totally change your way of life. It's probably going to cost you money. It's going to, for that little tiny percent that is the wealthiest, it's going to bring them down notches in their wealth and their prestige. So it's kind of huge when we talk about how does it, impact this time period. Our target today is to demonstrate your understanding. So you're going to have to leave it blank until you take your quiz. When you take your quiz, then you're going to be able to write in your score for that quiz. So that's all you have to do for the I learned box. And if you're absent, you can just write absent as well. So we take our quiz. That's the first thing. That's a Schoology quiz on the divisions of North and South, and it focuses on three main things: vocabulary, how the North and South are different or similar, and then the inventions of that time period. That's really the main focuses in this part of the content quiz. Then the second half is, when you finished it, I had everyone pick up this worksheet. It's the essential question paragraph practice. We did one like this for the era of reform. So if you're feeling a bit of deja vu, like you've done this before, you have in a way. You just did it with the reform movements. So now we're doing the same thing because we're practicing. Practice makes perfect. Finding evidence and how to write these sentences. So in your first box, this is your opinion, your claim statement. So you need to decide, do you think that the differences between the North and South were great? That there were some differences between the North and South? Or really, the North and South, there were no differences? You can support all of these. It just depends on your views on it. So then here you would write your three reasons. So, and we did a quick talk about what reasons were, what some examples were. And that pie chart that we did with transportation and culture and climate and cities and even the issue of slavery, all of that could be reasons. They're broader topics that you can then find details to support it within. So you're just simply writing your three reasons here. No details, just write them. Now you take your first reason. So now you have to circle, and it could be like if you had that there were some differences, maybe this first one is actually a great difference. And then maybe the second one's no difference. And then maybe the third one, some difference. So you could have different ones for this, but you'll circle the one that applies for the reason that you're describing. You'll write your reason right here. Again, you can add a little detail and explain it, but really that explanation goes down here. So evidence to support this. So if you're talking about that transportation was different, greatly different between the North and the South, you need to mention some of the types of transportation that were used in the North, some that were used in the South, and you may even want to add in evidence is things like facts. So things that we can't wiggle with, that aren't just facts are that there we can prove them. So facts might be an event that you mention, a place, a name of something. It might be numbers, like a fact, and I'm making this up, might be that the North had 10,000 miles of track for the railroad line, whereas the South only had 500 miles. Well, that's a huge difference. That means the North put a lot more money into their railroads. And maybe the South used steamboats most of the time because they had big, wide rivers like the Mississippi River as it flows further down south. I mean, so those are your naming things that people can think about. It's specific information. It's not a general, well, there were lots more canals in the North than the South. Well, how do I know there were more canals? Like, you got to give me something specific to go with it. So you're going to do that 3 times. So with the first reason and evidence, with the second reason and evidence, and the third reason and evidence. And then your concluding statement, you restate your 3 reasons and include a little bit of information for each reason, your best piece of evidence, just a quick refresher about why it is. So in conclusion, I feel that there were great differences between the North and the South in the mid-1800s because of, I'll use my example, because of transportation. The North had X number of miles of railroad more than the South. That's a reason, and then something to stick with it to remind the reader how the North and South were so different. There's one. And then you'd give your second with a little bit of information, and your third. And then you could, add a final kind of like pull it all together statement, but otherwise you don't have to. And that's it. Now, this is considered homework because I want you to look up information. I want you to use your textbook. I want you to use the double bubble maps and the T-charts that we had and the worksheets with the charts, with the invention charts. And the slavery chart. I want you to use all of that information to help you. You have a ton of information. Your textbook, chapter 18, talks all about the North and the South, the differences and similarities. And then chapter 19 talks all about slavery. And then there are worksheets inside of Schoology, the life, when we did our pinwheel, the information about the North and the South is on there. I want you to use it. I'm not giving you the evidence this time. I want you to find evidence that supports what you're trying to say. So it's all about the evidence. Do not use just a blanket Google search, though, or any kind of internet-based search engine. The reason being that I don't know that you can find the answer. You can try, but the problem is going to happen is you're going to get too much information. You're going to find things that we didn't even talk about. And I want us to really focus on the things we talked about and not get into people's, names of people or events or situations that we didn't even talk about, because it can get really complex really fast. And I want us to just focus on the evidence that we have. Now, if you need to quickly Google how many miles of track did the North have in 1850, how many miles of track did the South have, that's a little different. Like, you're being very specific. I'm okay with that. I'm just not okay with you typing in a search engine and going, what were the differences and similarities between the North and the South? Like, you already have that information. So please use what you have. Don't go out hunting thinking you'll make it easier for yourself, because you really won't. So we basically talked through what I just did with you, kind of a review, and then there was about 15 to 20 minutes of work time. So work on this. You can put it on a sheet of paper. You can print this sheet out. You can get it for me tomorrow. It is due on Thursday. All right? Any questions? Let me know. Otherwise, we hope to see you in school tomorrow, and stay warm.